and from the moment their lips touched, she knew that her life was now and forever free of the shackles of loneliness and kleptomania. The end. Another one off to print. You know, people always say to me, they say, Barbara, you've written so many books, surely you must be running out of ideas. And to that I say, as long as there's romance and decency in the world, I will never run out of ideas. So join me, Barbara Cartland, as we cultivate my new joy of Sword to the Heart.
Barbara, you've already written that.
Oh, okay. Well, join me as we write our new book, The Black Panther.
You've written that one too.
Oh, The Dangerous Dandy, The Frightened Bride, The Reluctant Bride, the Unpredictable Bride, The Bargain Bride. Have I ever written anything with love in the title? My lovely literate friends, please embark with me on the journey of creating my new book, 50 Shades of Soft Peach. Anastasia Fuzz gazed through her gorgeous Georgian windows in an elegant blue blouse. She thought about love. She thought about life. She thought about her love life, and what a life without love it was. Little did she know that she was mere moments away from being saved from despair by Mr. Peach. And saved she was. Mr. Peach reined in on the back of a Clydesdale, his shirt slightly open like an ice cream shop. Christian Peach, she noticed, was a man, and what a man he was. Anastasia attempted to speak, but she was too overcome by love that instead she merely whinnied. I will not touch one hair on your head until I have your father's written consent, Mr. Peach fondled. Hip hip hurrah, she said to herself, silently. She dashed like a cuttlefish in heat to the daughter box, and from it withdrew the seal of Mr. Peach, and just like that they were married. And what happens between the sheets of lovers is best left known to those between them. May we all one day suffer marital bliss like Mr. and Mrs. Peach. The end. How many words is that?
189.
Oh. Did you count the end?
Yes.
Right. Chapter 2. Christian Peach stared at his wife like she was a gazelle, and he a locomotive ready to snap off her legs like crisps. My tastes are very singular, and he placed his hand on the davenport and picked up a riding crop. No, sorry, a shoe, no, a brick, no, sorry, scratch that. His father's tie. Overcome with love, she collapsed onto the bed, her blouse bursting open to reveal a linen white nightgown. What is he going to do with that? She whispered to herself, in her head, not aloud. Christian flew to her, tie in hand, and crafted a lovely neckpiece that sat like decoupage on her décolletage. Are you going to make love to me now? She said. Aloud, are you going to make love to me? To which Christian replied, I don't make love. I drink tea. Hard. The end. Cut and print.
We're at 334.
Well, maybe that's too many.
Barbara.
All right. I just don't like smut. Chapter 3. Welcome to my playroom. Christian took Anna into his BBM basement, and on the walls sat collars and dog leashes, chew toys, shampoo, and 10 kilograms of Pedigree Ultra. On the dresser sat rope, a blindfold for one eye, a crow's nest, and a crew of 10 of your best men. he lay on her down like Uncle Frank going into the cemetery ground and whispered, "Ta-da!" into her clavicle. "Well, that's the best sex I've ever had," screamed Anna at the top of her lungs. "That's the best sex I've ever had," as mountains of fish flowed from her like she was mother of the ocean, and Christian hung above her like Christ on the cross, and he said, "You're biting your lip, you know what that does to me," and his engorgement engorged until he could resist no further. He touched her cheek with one hand, her breast with another, and her knee with the other, and then started to play her like an accordion, and this went on for several days until she was finally ready for the main event. She reached out her hand to him, and he swatted it away. "Why can't I touch you, Christian?" "Logistical reasons." And then the love got too much. He smacked her in the face with a houseplant. She wiggled in pleasure. He took off his socks and stuffed them into her ears. She married him over and over and over again until her name was Mrs. Peach. And he went out and hunted. She redecorated the nursery. He used cutlery at the table. She invited a lady in waiting to have tea. Oh, yes. He wore a tuxedo to meet her parents. She got on well with his mother. Oh, yes, she mended holes in his pantaloons. Oh, yes, he was often absent, running the estate. Oh, yes, they walked by the lake. He was Colin Firth. Oh, yes, 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 yes. I can't believe it. This might be my best work yet. Christian turns to his soft shape of a woman and says, "The reason I'm like this is because I am 50 shades of fucked up." Anastasia leaves. The end. Can you imagine? Just joking. Oh, Christian turns to her and says, "Well, Anastasia, you've definitely put my prejudice before my pride." And she turns to him and says, "Emma by Jane Austen." And in that moment, the poetry of their union revealed itself. Yes, love is like poetry. It flows even when the words don't always rhyme, and you have to reread it a few times to fully understand one another. And then, all too often, when we're just getting into the flow of it, it ends. What was cared for and cultivated and crafted into beautiful cursive now sits stagnantly on the page. And so we close the book, most likely never to open it again. But still we forge on, looking for new books, ones that are not too frivolous, not too obvious, ones whose poetry doesn't speak in grand gestures, but in still quietness. It is in quietness that the poetry of love is written. For many of us, it feels like the world is standing still. But don't despair, for it is only in these still moments that the heart finally has room to start moving again.
Barbara, that's really good.
Do you know what? Scratch that. Let's go with the fucked up ending. Yes, I like that one better. It's edgy. Thank you for joining us today, literate friends. Enjoy reading, and remember, don't go to bed tonight unless you are married. So from all of us, cheerio for now.